One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. A quote by Neil Armstrong. With this one sentence, the words impossible, inconceivable, and improbable no longer have the same meaning. July 20th, 1969, on that day, mankind had a significant breakthrough. We did the impossible, the inconceivable, and the improbable. On that day, mankind reached the stars, and man walked on the moon. The thing that for hundreds of years we thought impossible to achieve no longer held any mystery. On July 20th, 1969, at 4:17 p.m., the Apollo 11 spaceship becomes the first manned spacecraft to land on the moon. With the help of a commander, a lunar module pilot, and a command module pilot, man walked in a place thought to be impossible to reach. And with the landing of 3 men, the impossible just became a word. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins landed on the moon after traveling 240,000 miles. These 3 men piloted the Apollo 11, which consisted of a command module, Columbia, and the lunar module. These 3 men, for 76 long hours, became among the first to successfully pilot and land on the moon. And we all know that going to the moon isn't cheap. But how much did it cost? How long and how much effort did it all take? And what happened first? It all started with a war between Russia and the United States, but this war wasn't like all the other wars. In this war, we did not fire shots. No, in this war, we battled with our wits to see who would be the first to put someone on the moon. This was the Cold War. On May 25th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy addressed Congress, and I quote, "First, I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is up of landing a man on the moon." And 8 years later, we did. After countless experiments and over half a dozen failures, and over $11 million and $12 million paid by ABC, CBS, and NBC, and with the effort of a lot of men and women, we succeeded in doing what man has been dreaming about since we saw a beautiful shining circle in the sky. We went above and beyond. But for that project altogether, which includes the failed missions, cost about $24 billion. That's a lot of money. 1 year after President Kennedy addressed the Congress, he went to NASA and tells its administrator, James Webb, "This is, whether we like it or not, a race. Everything we do in space ought to be tied to getting to the moons ahead of the Russians." And 7 years later, we placed a man on the moon. So words like impossible, inconceivable, or improbable are just words that we use as excuses not to do something. If mankind can reach the moon and walk on it, we can do anything. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. These words remind me that nothing is impossible for us as long as we put our mind to it. So reaching for the impossible is entirely possible. There is a question that needs to be asked. If man can step on the moon, what's stopping us from achieving the impossible? Before this speech comes to an end, there is a quote that my mom always tells me. She tells me to reach for the moon, and when you've reached the moon, go far and beyond and reach for the stars. Thank you.